from the medications that Torrey wants people to be forced to take.
For every violation of human rights, people have no due process before the law.
There's no informed consent with these drugs.
Violation of our human rights is people living in our communities, and to lock us up under involuntary outpatient commitment laws that E.F. Torrey continues to promote his propaganda. We're here to stand against that today.
Speaking out against state-sponsored, organized psychiatric industries that are committing human rights violations, including murder, slavery, and torture.
It's very important that we come out to things like this so that the forces realize that their opposition to the freedom and rights of people are incorrect, and that we do and can recover, and there is no need for the Nazi-like tactics of putting people in treatment, or not treatment, but putting them into a position where they are actually serving in concentration camps versus really getting the support that they need.
I don't think any of us have divine wisdom on the best way to fix the mental health system. And I'm going to spend very brief moments on the fact that it is broken.
And that's really what psychiatrists should be in the business of doing, is helping people maximize their autonomy as much as they can, but being realistic about it as well. Certainly welcome a kind of situation where, in order for people to get their entitlements, they have to participate in treatment. Basically say, you give us clean urines and we're going to give you some discretionary funds. And some people do need this kind of benign paternalism. And some people do need this kind of benign paternalism. PACT, are you familiar, or ACT teams, are you familiar with those?
Programs for assertive community treatment was really called PACT, and now we just call them ACT teams. Basically, it's, say, 100 patients, 100 seriously mentally ill individuals who are assigned to a team of maybe 10 professionals, paraprofessionals, including some consumer providers on it. And they are responsible for these 100 people, no matter what happens. So
the only problem about the PACT teams or ACT teams is, although they may have the name ACT, you can't call them and they come 24 hours. I'm the president of a small nonprofit in Washington, D.C., and I've spent over the last 2 or 3 weeks a couple of times being in emergency rooms with my peers because the ACT teams don't come out.
So if one of your team members becomes psychotic on Saturday morning, your team member has to go on, the person who's on there. What you find very quickly is it's a lot easier to prevent these if you're the one who's going to have to get up on Saturday night or Saturday morning and do this, and you actually provide the care. So PACT teams really work, and that's what you're talking about.
If you want to talk about community, and you want to talk about PACT and ACT teams, those are storm Nazi troopers who come into your house and inject you in drugs if you have any objection to how you feel about them.
I think what's really fundamentally missed is that the biggest problem has been the ubiquitous use of psychiatric drugs. And what we're seeing now is that people diagnosed with serious mental illness in the public mental health system are now dying 25 years earlier than the general population. And to force people on these drugs and say that it's benign neglect is really outrageous.
When I knew Fuller, I was skinny like him. I took Zyprexa, and now I look like this. I weigh 100 pounds over my weight, and it's because of that that my knees are degenerating, and I can't walk. What kind of an outcome is that? And I took these drugs all these years. I've taken Zyprexa, I've taken Risperidol, I've taken Geodon, I've taken Abilify. I never got a job in my field. What kind of an outcome is that? I took these drugs voluntarily because I believed in you. Don't force these drugs on people. don't make them end up like this.
You know, there are very problematic outcomes for many of these medications. They're halfway technologies. They make some people better, but not well. They don't cure anybody. I do believe that the atypical antipsychotics, the medicines that we've used, were oversold by pharma, and that the pharmaceutical companies, and I little mea culpa there, because I was very enthusiastic about them because they had lower incidence of tardive dyskinesia, of the neurological side effects, but we really weren't cognizant of the potential serious side effects related to weight and diabetes.
This is a broken system, I agree. And I think one of the biggest ways it's broken is in the model of health. And there's such an over-reliance on medication, and it's because people are only seen as individuals. In Finland, they have shown that they can reduce the Social Security claims by 60 to 70%, the medication rates by 70 or 80%, and they engage the family. And it is very much a network approach. No one individual is seen as the only problem, the only difficulty. And I only wish that our system didn't just rely on medication and just see the individual as having the difficulty.
Please. This is to be taken another time. We only have a limited time and a lot.
No, but they should be answered because there's nothing about us here. The principle is that we're not being heard. You mentioned consumers, you mentioned recovery, but I want to say this, that I've been forced by psychiatry. I'll gladly leave.
No, I'm not asking you to leave. I'm just asking you to recognize we're at the end of time.
But I want to say this. I sat in the New York State Correction System, and I was forced into a hospital in central New York, and they injected me with drugs, and then they threatened me with shock treatment. Please, do not say advocates have no place here. We have many places, and I will continue to interrupt, be a part of, because we are people who have experienced torture. I don't believe in recovery. I'll never recover the injections that were put into me and felt that liquid poison my body. I won't.
Thank you for your comments.
The sun will rise even one more time, so will I, so will I. If the sun will rise even one more time, so will I, so will I. If the sun will rise even one more time, so will I, so will I. If the sun will rise even one more time.